Hello, Otafest listeners. Welcome to the newest episode of the Otafest podcast, your favorite podcast, produced by convention staff such as Angelo
Hello.
and Nancy
Whoa, it's me.
and me, Jay.
And you.
Who are you?
Oh, it's the letter J.
I've never heard of a J in my life.
This is Sesame Street podcast.
I'll tolerate you for this episode, but I will not have you again for the next 2 episodes minimum.
Indeed. It's going to feel so empty.
I'll be around somewhere. I'll exist.
You'll be physically existing, just not in front
I'll
of this
banish
microphone.
you to the other side of the planet.
To the Shadow Realm.
We'll slightly misplace you like a continent over.
Man, speaking of the Shadow Realm, with the time switch over, every day I get out of work, it is just pitch black now.
I am hungry an hour earlier, and that hasn't fixed itself either.
I've just seen like Instagram reels of dogs and cats whose internal clocks are tuned to like meal times, so they don't understand daylight savings. And then
They do
their
not.
owners have to be like, "It's not time for food yet, baby," and they're like, "But body says hungry."
Mother, I am starving.
Yeah.
Mother, feed me.
My hunger wakes me up before my alarm does now. It's weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well,
That's the worst.
breakfast, right? And then on Friday, I had a deadly 7:30 a.m. meeting with a client. So I was up and like another hour even earlier than usual, and I was just like, so hungry by the time 10:30 came around. It was insane.
I just want everybody to pat me on the back because when the switchover happened back in the spring, I looked at the clock in my car and I just refused. I refused to take action.
Just left it because it's just going to be correct later anyway.
Yes. And then about 2 weeks ago, I was driving in my car and I was like, wow, I still haven't changed it for daylight savings time. I should get around to that. And then I was like, wait a minute. It's like the end of October. It's going to change back in like 2 weeks.
Leaving
And
it.
so my car's clock is now once again correct.
I know I mention it every time we do daylight savings as a topic, but I really wish we could just get rid of it. It's just so unnecessary.
There's a lot of
I
things
know.
we could talk
It's the
about
worst.
that this government does, this provincial
I
government does,
know.
that spends a lot of money on instead of just doing something like fixing daylight savings time. But let's not get into that. Something I want to get into real quick is a reminder to get your weekend passes at the early bird price of $58 and nice cents at otafest.com.
The early bird gets the weekend pass.
Yeah,
This is the second tier of early bird, so don't miss this one.
it's true. Save money. Spend for holidays. Save for Otafest. Buy ramens like Angelo does. Do the thing.
Save some, like, buy a ramen for your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, it's
Ramen
true.
for Christmas?
No, ramen
A
for
ramen
mother.
For your mom. At
Because it's
Otafest.
Mother's Day.
It's the Mother's Day special.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense.
Ramen for
doesn't it?
mother.
Ramen from mama.
I was just like, what's the next holiday coming up? Christmas. Why would you buy your mother ramen for
No.
Christmas?
At Otafest.
Why wouldn't you buy your mother ramen for Christmas?
If she has a
Well,
sodium
you would have to get
sensitivity.
the fancy. You got to get the fancy ramen, you know?
Very true.
Like, you can't just settle for Mr. Noodles if you're giving it as a Christmas present. You gotta go online. You gotta go, like, to Vite Ramen and get the expensive stuff.
No, the hack right now is you take your, doesn't matter if it's like the bowl or cup style of noodle or the, instant ramen pack to be made in sauce pot of choice. It is the addition or replacement by adding milk, either half milk, half water, or like full on milk for that creamy texture.
Oh, I've actually seen TikToks about this.
Yeah. And add a little butter.
Yeah.
And then you put in your sauce pack as like you don't change much, but you just change out straight water for the creaminess of cream or milk.
I never thought to do that.
One thing that I've seen is taking the fire noodles, the bulldog fire noodles.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of using like water or milk or cream at all, instead using hot oil to almost make like a fire oil chili oil noodle dish.
But it's already very spicy. Do you need to add more?
Not adding chili oil, adding oil, so it's like it's bathing in chili oil.
Oh, so it just coats all of your insides
Yes.
the whole way down.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just really like to feel your intestines burn, huh?
Some people want it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And you know what else other people want? The Legend of Zelda live action movie.
I thought this was a joke
I also thought
when
it
I
was
read
just
it on
speculation.
Twitter.
I mean, I
Like,
feel like it's
the
been
Twitter-
bounced around forever in terms of people either
I don't
wanting it
think
or
I've ever
speculating
heard it
about
mentioned.
I
Although to be
have.
fair,
The way
I don't
that it
keep
was
up with
mentioned
Nintendo.
on Twitter, it was like, oh, Nintendo, like at twitter.com. And it's just, this is Miyamoto. We are now announcing a live action Legend of Zelda movie. And I'm just sitting there like, wait a minute. Is this one of those fake Nintendo accounts, one of the like meme accounts? Because there is no way this is a serious announcement. And it was completely true. It was 100% real. I was taken aback. Not so much that they decided to make a Legend of Zelda movie after the unmitigated success of the Mario movie. Like they really tried to make it bomb by getting Chris Pratt as Mario. But now they're going to have a live action Legend of Zelda.
They saw that One Piece money, baby, and they were like, I want some of that.
How are they going to fit Chris Pratt into a tunic?
I just don't see. I like the idea of a Legend of Zelda movie. I don't love the idea of live action. I've said this before for when Disney was doing their live action remakes. There's just a certain level, like animation helps you suspend disbelief. You know, Zelda's actually a pretty fun franchise, pretty animated, like, I don't know, cartoony in a sense. Like there used to be a Legend of Zelda cartoon and stuff
There
like
was.
that.
And it was great.
Yeah, so I just
Cheesy, but great.
they're all cheesy and they're all like cult classic type stuff at this point. But I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. I feel like I say this every time when I face these realities of what these franchises want to make as media. I'm sure it'll be fine. I just don't love the idea. I never feel like, is this what it's like to be old?
It really is. Like when you love something and now you're starting to see it becoming
Not the thing that you hold dear.
Yes.
remade for the popular culture.
But like when I heard at like I found out like while I was sitting at the dining table for lunch, Sean turns to me and is just like, "Oh, they're making a Legend of Zelda live action movie, and it's not a joke." My brain skipped over the live action part, and my mouth went, "I wonder who they're gonna cast for Link's voice, because isn't he just gonna make hut, huh, huh, like noises?" And then my brain finally caught up and was like, "Wait a minute, did you say live action?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so they need an actual actor.
People are already saying,
Is it going to be Michael
Cera?
Cera?
Tom Holland.
Tom
and
Holland, yeah.
Maybe like Timothée Chalamet. His name rhymes, right? His first and
Chalamet?
last name rhyme. Timothée Chalamet. I actually don't. It's not like I watch a lot of pressers for media and shows, and I know he's in Dune or whatever, but I don't think I've ever watched or heard his name actually be pronounced. So
Imagine if all three of us had names where the first name and the last name rhymed.
Jouet. I know Jouet.
That would be fun. Now, what if I told you that not only is it being made, Miyamoto is going to be one of the producers, but he's only co-producer. Do you know who his other co-producer is?
Bob the Builder.
Unlucky. Avi Arad.
Yes.
Now,
that
if you
man.
don't know that name, then you're exactly like me. I've never heard of this person in my life.
Same.
But they've been a producer on some fantastic movies throughout the years. They were the producer on Hulk from 2003, the Marvel movie that tried to get buried. Elektra, the superhero film that got Daredevil's sidekick basically sidelined for the rest of time. Bratz. I didn't realize there was a Bratz movie.
Apparently there was.
He produced it.
You say this, but I'm looking at the actual filmography, and he has
Morbius under his belt.
Oh,
maybe some of the biggest.
He's the
He has
Morbius
some of the
guy.
yes, but he also has
Oh.
the original. Yeah, he is the original Iron Man.
Now, I'm cherry picking. He's got the original Iron Man, which is an amazing movie. It's fantastic. It launched.
He has Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's got Spider-Verse under his belt. Like, these are fantastic movies. Absolutely fantastic. Spider-Man 2, the good one.
He has all three of the Spider-Man, like Tom Holland movies.
Okay.
He knows what to do.
And there's some ones where they probably didn't make as much of a profit or something like that, or it wasn't the most critically acclaimed superhero movie. They just made $200 million instead of $800 million.
Despite Morbius being a massive flop, a memed flop across the internet, and we love it for that. Its biggest crime was just being boring. It wasn't bad. It was just mediocre.
Morbius still made, on a budget of $83 million, still made $167 million. So they made still an $80 million profit.
They profited?
So I'm just pointing that out. Like, I'm not saying money is the only thing that
Holy
matters.
moly. It must have had a really good international release.
Because in the sphere of influence that superhero movies are, they're not gunning for Oscars other than like special effects or costume. You know what I mean? They're not doing story Oscars. They're not doing best actor, actress, best supporting. So it is for them mostly about the money, and I guess Mr. Arad makes money.
So it's not that it's impossible. It is absolutely possible for The Legend of Zelda to be good. It could potentially even be great, but I am not going to be optimistic.
I want to know which universe of Zelda they're pulling from.
I want Philips CDI Zelda.
I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok.
I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
I want to see Majora's Mask. That's what I want to see. That's the universe I want in. As much as I love Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
All right, that's fair. That would actually be...
Ocarina of Time would be really dark, actually. Well, it was kind of a success.
I would want both. I think a
Majora's
lot of
Mask
people
is
would,
even darker.
like, I mean, maybe that's the most obvious answer, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
with all the bangers in the franchise that is Legend of Zelda, I have to think that Ocarina and Majora's Mask are up there.
They have the nostalgia bait in there, but the what I think would be really good with Majora's Mask, time travel as a mechanic is something that really gets anything a cult following.
Time travel and multiverses.
Waiting for a Chrono Trigger. Something. Just something.
I mean, what if they made Chrono Trigger as a remake the way that they're handling Final Fantasy VII?
But the way they're handling Final Fantasy VII is it's different, right? They're hinting at things that make me think this won't be a faithful remake.
Didn't they add completely new characters that didn't have?
I would argue you can easily add more character moments or like more characters to add to the canonical, like already established content, but I feel like they are hinting towards things being different. So I don't know that I could make that analogy, Jay. I don't think they're just like remaking it. I think they're doing more than just remaking the original story.
I just don't know how well a Chrono Trigger series would do. So I just went back to like the remake a game route versus try to extract the
a movie could be
I
good,
know.
or like something, some other adaptation that maybe isn't as interactive.
A Chrono Trigger McDonald's commercial. They've been getting into those anime commercials lately.
Anime. I've never heard of anime.
Actually, the second season of Devils is a Part-Timer is one of
no.
those things that makes you regret wishing for a second season.
Devil's a part-timer. I'm so sad to hear that. It was such a cute series with season 1.
Yeah. It is the kind of situation where the monkey paw curls when someone asks for the second season. It's really clear that it was made as kind of a cash grab and really low budget. A lot of the time, the characters aren't even on model, so they'll be like wrong sizes relative to each other, really poorly drawn.
That makes me sad.
Just, ugh. And apparently, this part of the light novel series was a very difficult part for readers to get through. So you got subpar animation mixed with subpar story. And it's been 8 years since the original aired.
Yeah, it's been a
before
while.
the second season came out. So a lot of the fans of the original series might have moved on from anime entirely.
This might spell the end of it as a series, honestly.
It's unlucky, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was never any more Devil is a Part-Timer material.
Well, at least you got the manga.
Yep. Light novels, I think.
Light novel?
Light novels, I think. But I also think that Netflix must be stopped. I don't know who at Netflix got the idea that what the world really needed was a second Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action version.
If you say the words Netflix must be stopped, they will stop. They'll stop when you as the audience have already been invested into the series or movie that you really want to watch, and then they remove it or cancel the series. So they just stop. They stop on their dime, not yours.
My God.
Or miswrite it. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Everybody out here being like, wow, Netflix, good job with that with that One Piece adaptation. That, unironically, very good thing. Very good work you did there. You're going to adapt the rest, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? I would be surprised. I would be surprised if they even got to the Alabasta arc.
I'm happy with what I say this all the time. Like, I don't really care about how good sequels are or like following seasons are, as long as I had like the one good thing. Prime example for me is like RoboCop. I love the original RoboCop. The next two movies have the campiness, but also none of the like the better substance and like satire that it has, the undercurrent that runs through the original RoboCop. And I'm like, that's okay. I don't need Jurassic Park, another great one. Lost World, I'll watch Lost World, but the third one I don't really care about, and the original one is the one I need.
Lost World is pretty good. The third one, there's a reason they rebooted the series after the third one.
And at the same time, it's also the only major franchise out there that does dinosaurs on a regular basis. So I'm kind of like, whatever, just make the movie. I'll watch it for your dinosaurs, and then you can just, fuck off. Because no one else is making dinosaur movies.
Yes, give me the dinosaurs that look like frogs. I want them.
So, Angelo, did you actually watch the trailer to the new Netflix adaptation?
Yes,
for Avatar?
there were a lot of landscape shots, just panning landscape shots. There was a lot of nothing going on. Like,
I mean, as a fan of the animated series, I recognized a lot of those landscapes. That's good, right?
yeah, but if they have something good to show us, I feel like they would show us that, not just CGI landscape shots. You know what I mean? If they had some...
I think we got to see Aang once.
And
I saw a screenshot of Aang. He looks okay, I guess.
it's just not impressive.
Yeah,
It doesn't give me
okay.
hope.
He's a bald kid with an arrow on his head.
As much as everyone is memeing about it being, oh, this is just the second coming of the M. Night Shyamalan version, I don't think that's possible.
I don't think so. Shyamalan's version of it was just so janky. Like the names were pronounced wrong. A lot of
What?
the world building was wrong. Like
I
it
never
was
saw
strange.
it. So
Yeah. I've never actually seen it because enough people told me not to watch it. But apparently he demanded that they repronounce a whole bunch of names because based on Asian languages, this is how it should be pronounced. So Aang is Ong, and then there's a whole bunch of other things that they also pronounce differently in the movie. And apparently firebenders require an actual fire to bend. They can't just like make fire out of their energy, which is kind of the whole point of firebending.
I have a point to make about the names thing, the name pronunciation. It doesn't matter what the source of the language is. Names are merely a sound you make up to give a title to something. You can pronounce it however the hell you need to if you are the one bestowing the name.
Yes. 100%.
Fair. I feel like it's different though when you adapt from a book into a show, like Wheel of Time, for example. But there were like this is adapting from the same media to a slightly different but very similar media where the names are established. So it just seemed a little strange to die on that particular hill.
If everyone already heard the names throughout the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender series, and no one was like, maybe we should repronounce those, then don't change it for other media.
It's also a fictional
established.
universe. It's a fictional universe for a young audience.
Yes.
True.
You don't have to, like, J.R.R. Tolkien the whole, like, well, actually, in the Silmarillion, you see, it said that, the elves traveled from Valinor.
Jay has some trauma behind this.
I just let people enjoy things they want to enjoy the way they want to do.
Now,
that's all. That's all it
M.
really
Night
comes
Shyamalan
to. Stop gatekeeping.
Was
things.
also extremely famous for having extremely underwhelming bending effects. Like, I remember that...
yeah.
I heard about that. I remember that.
The earth bending
I saw this
is
clip
the
with
most
earth bending.
infamous version of it, where they got
That's so
three
funny.
buff dudes dancing, pounding the ground, having this big epic choreography. They're yelling their hearts out. And then three stones, maybe about the size of potatoes, gradually float by, slower than a grandma with a walker can shamble across a road.
Again, it's just the world building was a bit broken, I'm told. And don't love
You
that.
can get past world building
Don't love
with
that.
impressive anything. And there was nothing impressive about the M. Night Shyamalan version. So, at the very least, for Netflix Avatar, the bar is very low for worst Avatar adaptation. You could basically just record a Left 4 Dead run-through and just have modded character models in there, and that would be a more faithful adaptation of The Last Airbender than Shyamalan's version. That's where the bar is.
That's rather painful.
Because Left 4 Dead 2's director is so good.
Yes. So the bar is low for the worst Avatar series, but to be better than the original, the bar is really high. Like to get the bar of it is worth existing, I feel like you need to be in spitting distance of that bar, and I'm not hopeful.
We'll see.
We'll
see.
Yeah, I'm mostly curious about from like what we've seen of Netflix's like CGI department, for example, in like One Piece. It's not terrible, but it is like it's not exactly like Marvel level CGI, right?
Marvel CGI 10 years ago and Marvel CGI now are very different things.
That's true. That's fair. But I'm just thinking about like what are the things that you need to see CGI'd? You need to see the bending effects. We've already established that. You need to see the animals because there's Momo, right? And then there's Appa at the very least. And then what else do you need to see CGI'd? I guess not that much.
Exactly.
Just the
environmental
environment,
touches.
as they do nowadays anyways. Yeah. But that will lend a lot into the suspension of disbelief if those items can look good, because I don't think the actors necessarily have to look good. Like they did a really good job casting for One Piece, but that's because the each character is very like sort of unique. Like they have a very unique design look. Whereas I would say that like the Avatar gang is not particularly special looking, except for again the one kid who is bald and has a big blue arrow on his head. They kind of just look like kids with their respective like tribe
Yes.
clothing. You know,
I want it to be good, just because I don't want bad things. But I am not holding out hope.
But I also don't think we needed a
No.
live action remake of it.
I just does Netflix?
if you want to go down that route, my
Does
dear.
Netflix have streaming rights to the original Avatar: The Last Airbender? Because this is something we've seen with Zom 100.
I think so, because I think that's where I watched
Yeah, I
it.
think you and Bayfire watched
Okay.
it on Netflix, right?
I am like 80% sure
Think so.
in my old rusty
However,
memory.
that may not
I'm pretty
be.
sure.
That may not be what their catalog looks like now, because that was a few years ago.
I'm just interested because
Peru.
when Netflix couldn't get the rights to anime Zom 100, they then went and made live action Zom 100 instead, just so that they could have Zom 100 at all. What if this is something similar, where they think we might not be able to keep the rights to Avatar forever, or maybe if they've already lost it. I'm not going to look it up in the middle of speaking. If they've already lost it, like, well, we want to have some kind of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we can make our own live action one, and then we can just keep running it forever because we made it.
And it's already written.
Does that work that
It's
way?
already written. The show already exists. We're just reenacting it with people.
If they get the rights to adapt it for live action, then I mean that's their live action.
But the
stuff.
Avatar IP owner, whoever that may be, they can rescind the license at any time, regardless of whether they made
It depends on the licensing agreement, because the way that the licensing agreement for
Okay, we're going too far down the rabbit hole. We're
Okay,
going too
okay.
far down the rabbit hole.
You're fair.
I get it. I get it.
basically, if they ever lose the original Avatar, they want their own, and that's what they're doing.
Let's just cross our fingers and hope that it doesn't suck.
At the very
Fair enough.
least,
That's the standard around here.
let's hope we get as many memes as Morbius out of it.
Fair enough. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm down for both. And I say this for like the Zelda movie and everything too. Either be good or be memeably bad,
Yes,
but don't be somewhere in the middle.
Fair.
That's all I want. Yeah.
Fair.
Oh. So we just talked about a bunch of different people doing their job to try to bring entertainment to you, the people. But what if instead
Last people.
you could do what entertains you for your job? What would you do? What would you spend the rest of your life doing? Or would you keep doing your current job and save the hobby for just fun time?
So, the topic came up originally because as we were prepping to record this episode, I was like, guys, I modded my keyboard today. I'm so proud. My fingers hurt, but now my keyboard sounds amazing.
And because it sounds and feels amazing, your fingers won't hurt next time.
Maybe. We'll see. But usually working with tiny, sharp plastic things usually hurts. But, so Jay goes, would you ever do that for just like your actual job? Like, would you let people hire you to mod their keyboards for them? And I was like, that wouldn't be the worst possible thing I could do. I've already done something similar where I made something that I was passionate about into a job. I already did that with voice acting. I don't know if I could actually justify the amount of money it would cost for someone to mod your keyboard. Because if you think about the sheer amount of time I spent on this was my keyboard, and I probably spent 4 hours on it. And I probably put in a little too much effort for this.
So let's
But I
see.
also could have put more effort into this and made it truly perfect.
If we consider probably $50 round trip shipping, 4 hours of professional time, depending on what you want to charge that at, that can be anywhere from $100 to $300. So basically,
Possibly.
for the cost of a new, anywhere from an entry level or a very nice mechanical keyboard, you could have Nancy customize your keyboard.
I would say It would be interesting because I mean, there's also different forms of keyboards. There's ergos, there's mechanical, there's 10 keyless, 70%,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But there's also the number one reason that I think Nancy would not do this. Now that I think about it, because I wouldn't do this.
But I'm not you.
But you will know exactly what I mean. You would have to open up someone else's keyboard to mod it.
Yep.
Oh,
No,
no.
that is 100% a thought that crossed my mind.
So add on an extra $75 cleaning fee,
Oh,
disinfecting fee,
at least.
ozonation
75.
fee.
I'm doubling.
Oh no, it would be a lot depending on like the actual state of your keyboard. Like I can promise you
Yeah.
that when I ship your keyboard back to you, it would be in immaculate shape. But if you don't want to like overinflate the cost of what it would be for me to just mod your keyboard, probably don't
Clean
send it
your
to
own damn
me in the
keyboard.
worst possible shape you could send it to me.
I feel like if I were
Yeah.
doing that job,
Oh,
the package would have to go into like, like those sandblasting chambers? Into one of those with the gloves in it.
just put it into an autoclave.
But the whole chamber is filled with ozone gas. It's got UV lights going down on all parts of it. That's what I would open up and check out, disassemble the keyboard in. And then after
God.
any bugs, germs,
Ugh.
literal insects
Hair
are removed
and
from it,
sauce and
then it can come out of the ozone
food
chamber.
bits.
Yep, food bits. It's pretty bad.
I like I said, no, the $300 that you mentioned earlier for the mod, and then I double that just for the
Like
cleaning.
I would charge variable cleaning fee based on what state your keyboard is in when you sent it to me.
Yes, does it just have to sit in the ozone chamber for like 5 seconds? Or do we need the 24-hour soak?
Yeah, and do we have to like isopropyl alcohol every single surface you just sent me?
And at the worst level, like the top tier worst level, you take a photo of it after you've taken it out, like taken off all the keys and you can see all the grunge
Oh, yeah.
underneath. You take a photo of it and you send it to their mother.
I mean, only if I get
There's a shame in
only
there.
if I get to charge a fee that you can optionally pay for me not to do that.
Not to send to their
Not
mother.
to send it to your mother. But like seriously, like I would send
That's another doubling of the
I
fee.
would send back
Wonderful.
photos. I'd just be like, this is what it looked like when you sent this to me. Just for the record, this is what it looked like.
But I mean,
And now it no longer looks this way.
if we double the cost for the cleaning, we're now looking at $600 a pop. If you do one of those a day, you're eating good.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that would be me doing this as a full-time job. Are enough people actually going to want to hire someone to do this for them? Maybe.
God, no.
But would they pay that much for it?
Well, that's the
The
problem.
crushing of dreams. God, no.
Like, yeah, everyone wants their keyboard to feel great and to sound great and to look great. But do you
True.
want to pay someone this much for it?
That is
I think there is a market for it.
at a point where I tried to do like pixel art animation commissions.
Mm-hmm.
That was the sticking point. It's that, oh yes, a lot of people really want the thing. They want the animation commissions until they realize how much it's going to cost. And that's
I think there's the difference here is though, like the market that I can imagine for that keyboard mod, it lies in like the gamer community, the pro gamers. They're gonna want like they already know, they already do a lot of modding, but like to have that, people do that all the time. They all like especially if they're like kind of at the top of whatever their thing is, they offload the labor,
oh yeah.
even though they're an expert in what they want. It's like athletes and then their sports equipment, for example.
But like
Yes.
even
It's not like they're the ones buying or making
but like
them,
if you
right?
think about even like people who make YouTube content for a living, they need to have video editors like on standby for
Mhm,
everything. Like you gotta
They offload the
and then
labor.
they have people to help you film and produce.
Mhm.
Like it's a
Mhm.
whole it's a
Right.
whole shop. You gotta like have someone dealing with all this. Like I personally would probably need someone running just business logistics for me because if I'm
The
doing the
admin
actual
stuff?
work, I don't have time to do that.
That is really what it comes down to for me. Even if I wanted to make like my greatest passions into my home income, my personal income, my real job. There's all the administrative BS around making that a job that makes it unfun.
Yeah, I know.
Everything from like networking and just emails,
Building
and
skills,
scheduling,
dealing with invoicing,
deadlines,
like contracts. Like there's a lot that applies here from my voice acting experience, right? I have contract templates now that I draw on for individual jobs. I have rate sheets that I can reference now. I have contacts that I can ask for very specific things that I need. But without all of that, I would be starting from scratch, and I just don't have time for that. And voice acting already eats into as much of my free time as I have. Like, I don't really have a whole lot of time to do things outside of Otafest podcast, outside of all of my other commitments.
Otafest podcast. It's a priority.
It's a priority.
Every week it's at the top of the list for like one day.
I have some friends that are like professional streamers, and I always am sort of in awe of them, not because they do what they want as like they do their hobby as a living, but because I know how much work it took to get them there. And every time I hear somebody casually say, I want to play video games for a living, I'm just like, no, you don't. You don't, because you
don't understand.
Like, not to be like rude, but essentially you're part of like, you're the 99.5%. You're just everybody else who doesn't stream and play games for a video or for a living. So, you know, figure it out. Like, why is it, if it was so easy as just buy console, buy game, turn on camera, have computer, talk into microphone.
If only it were that easy.
I mean,
and like,
if the math was that easy,
I had a similar thing with digital art too. Like, I dabble in digital art. I'm not a professional by any means at all, but I definitely thought about it. And like voice acting, doing artwork, digital artwork on a commission basis is gig based. So if you're not working on the current gig and earning money, you are trying to chase down your next job. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah. It's absolutely, it's not the main part of the job that makes it a tough job. It's all the extra stuff that you don't think about it when you only have it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like for me.
Funny that when it's a passion-driven thing and it's not the passion part's the problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, like, I also don't want this ruining that passion either. Like, voice acting worked out for me, but what if I don't like art anymore because I tried and I burnt out and I just never want to do art ever again?
Or the audience, right? Like, we hear so many times, even with people with established audiences, their own audiences turn against them because of, oh, you didn't play the game I wanted. Oh, you don't draw the art style that I like anymore. Oh, this is not the direction that I wanted your content. The thing that you as a creator have the most control over, technically, it doesn't appeal to me anymore. I don't like it. You're nothing anymore to me. And it's like, wow, thanks.
There's a lot of wonderful artists that I follow online, and it never fails that every now and again they'll pop up and say, yes, I am aware I'm being called out for only drawing pretty girls. I'm sorry. That's just what I like to draw.
It's good. It's fun. I have
Pretty
recognized in my own for my own art, I'm like, wait a minute. How do I draw backgrounds? Why am I so bad at drawing backgrounds? All you draw is a wall. How can this be fucking hard? Well, because obviously you draw more than a wall. You draw the rest of the room. You draw the things in the room. What the hell's in a room? I guess it depends on what room it is. But it's just all the, when you don't care about that part, there's a lot of minute details that you don't really look into, and that's just the way it is. That is its own analog for the business end of turning your hobbies and passions into a business. It's all the extra stuff that you never did because you didn't want to do it anyway is now necessity.
That said, if Angelo wanted to do like a game and was like, Nancy, I can't pay you, but could you contribute to the game? I'd be like, hell yeah, I'll do my best.
Noted.
There is something to be said about like having a good community that does things that you actually want to be a part of, even if you're not getting paid for it.
What she's saying is use and abuse your friends.
Politely abuse.
Yes, politely abuse. take friends out to dinner, kind of.
And sure, they're doing
I'm so
well.
sorry, I can't pay you more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll pay you in food.
I'll go and buy you one of your favorite hot dogs from Costco. But we need to use your Costco card to get in.
Look, I offered. That offer's still open. We can still go to Costco.
Can we go? Because I'm actually down for Costco. I've been craving a Costco dog, like something fierce.
I do need to go to Costco soon, so I mean, that sounds like the beginnings of a plan.
Oh my. Oh my. Are we going to Costco
I mean, we
tomorrow?
technically have a date. We planned a date.
We planned a date. We planned a date night.
Yeah.
We will see
let's
you
go.
at Costco tomorrow, dear Otafest listener.
But we won't tell you which one. You have to guess.
Yeah.
We won't tell you which
Open
tomorrow
invite.
either.
Yeah, which tomorrow, which location.
Find out next
even if it-
time on the next episode of the Otafest
The
podcast.
Otafest podcast.
He's too distracted by Costco food.
We'll record the next episode at Costco.
The
just for
acoustics would
you.
be horrible.
Yes.
My God.
See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.